Hey guys, I'm going to tell you in this video why I think the SpaceX IPO might be one of the biggest catalysts this year for the stock market to go down. And yes, that's correct. I love SpaceX business, I love Elon Musk, I love Tesla, but I think there are big dangers on the SpaceX IPO because the market is currently quite fragile and there might be a small trigger that might bring a short bear market or a short crash or a market downturn or a correction, whatever you want to call it. But I think SpaceX might be one of these catalysts. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why. And if you wonder who am I, well, I've been investing for the last 20 years and I manage a hedge fund called Maverick Capital. But anyway, without further ado, let me show you why I think SpaceX might be actually quite dangerous for the current market. Okay, guys, so to start, we have the very high valuation of SpaceX. So SpaceX, considering, let me show you here the numbers, considering the S1 filing and the last year revenue, it's currently, the value of the IPO will be $175 to $2 trillion, $2 trillion. And that means that considering the 2025 revenue, the SpaceX IPO is going to be valuated, the valuation is 93 times the revenue, 93 times the sales. So it's a very, very high valuation. And usually, this kind of very high valuation means one of two things. You either have a very high price stock, very overvalued stock, and it will correct, or you have a company that is so promising that there is a lot of optimism around it, and the investors believe that will go up, and that's why the valuation is high. But I feel that there is other catalysts behind it that might make the price to go down, because even though there might be optimism around the SpaceX IPO, because the valuation is very high, we are talking about close to $2 trillion, okay? Can you imagine? $2 trillion company will put SpaceX on the top, like 10% of the biggest companies listed in the stock market. And this means that early investors, venture capitals, high net worth individuals that invested early, even the employees, will now finally have their exit opportunity. Okay, these people invested $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, $500,000, $1 million, and now that money is worth billions of dollars, now that they will be able to sell, okay? So these people will start slowly to sell because their shares will not unlock immediately, so it will not cause a sell pressure immediately, but it will unlock over a period of approximately 6 months. But within 6 months, we will see a sell pressure of SpaceX stock worth of billions of dollars of sell pressure. Now, the stock will only go up if there is more buying pressure than sale pressure. And I think there are so many people that will want to sell the SpaceX stock, not because it's a bad company, but because they have invested very early and now they want to cash out, they want to have some cash, okay? If you have made an investment and you have 100x return on investment, you would also probably sell, okay? It's not that the SpaceX company is bad. You need to take some profits. And these people will take profits. And maybe they will reinvest these profits in other things. Maybe they will boost the economy by consuming. Maybe they will buy other stocks. But short term, there will be pain because of this sell pressure. Another very big concern that I have is related to the weight of SpaceX in the S&P 500. In fact, Eric Balchunas from Bloomberg was talking about it here on the post, but in a nutshell, what happens is that, SpaceX will have a fast track to be listed in the S&P 500, Russell 1000, Nasdaq 100, and a few other indices. And this means that index ETFs like SPY, VOO, QQQ, and so on, and even your 401ks, retirement accounts, all those things will automatically buy SpaceX, because SpaceX will be included very quickly in the S&P 500, Nasdaq 100, and so on. And is this good or bad? Well, I think generally it's okay for the long term, but short term, we will have dilution, because SpaceX, again, is so big that will force these funds to buy billions and billions of dollars worth of SpaceX. And that means that the liquidity will be sucked up from somewhere, right? It will reduce the liquidity in the market. This liquidity could be going to the existing stocks, but now SpaceX will suck up a ton of liquidity. So this will be something that, in my opinion, will drag down again the S&P 500 and Nasdaq by 2 or 3%. Remember, the average return of the S&P 500 over the last 50 or 40 years is like 10% a year. So dragging down 2 or 3 or 4% in the S&P 500 is significant, okay? Saying all these, okay, we have the liquidity issues, we have insiders selling, you have this huge IPO happening. What am I doing? Well, and I'm not doing anything. So sometimes the best investment strategy is not doing anything. And let me explain. So the SpaceX IPO will come in, and I'll monitor the market. If there is a market dip, I'll always keep some cash on the side. I'll keep some dry powder, and I'll buy the dip, you know. You look at the S&P 500 over the last 100 years, mostly goes up, okay? For every 7 years goes up, there is 1 year of bear market, okay? So even if there is a market correction, I'm going to buy the dip. I continue buying index ETFs. I continue buying also leverage ETFs. If you don't know very well about leverage ETFs, they can really boost your wealth very well and accelerate the compounding effect that can bring you to retirement much faster. But I talk about it in my Henrique Wealth Academy. You have a full course about ETFs there, and you can check the link in the description. But anyway, if there is a market dip, I'll be loading on ETFs, leverage ETFs, and I might look into the SpaceX IPO. Usually I don't like to buy IPOs right after they happen. Why? Well, because again, insider selling, on average, IPOs, after a few months after they happen, the stock performs quite negatively. So I'm not going to buy right after the IPO. I might wait a few months, look at the numbers, look at how the business is doing, and then perhaps jump in. Okay, so I will do these analyses on these different stocks over time. So if you want to follow, subscribe and give it a like so that you don't miss this kind of video. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye.